It is playoff season on North Metro TV, and we've got 5-2A boys hockey, the first of two on this sheet of ice at the Ice House. J.W. Cox alongside John Haddon. It's the Osseo Orioles, the 6th seed in 5-2A at 6-11-1, taking on the Blaine Bengals, the 3 seed after a 9-9 campaign. And we are underway from the Ice House. John, definitely the Bengals would still be the team to choose in this one as far as looking for who's going to get the victory, but they're coming in limping, playing their toughest part of the schedule over their last 5 games and losing all 5 of those to the likes of Maple Grove and over in Centennial. 2 of those teams, the top 2 teams in this Section 5 bracket.
Yeah, that's part of the reason they're in the 3 seed instead of maybe inching higher if they would have played a little better over those last few games. But at the same time, maybe they didn't play that bad. They just played really tough competition. What's the iron sharpens iron? You want to be playing good competition. They should be ready for this moment here tonight.
They definitely hope they put together some lessons from those 5. What they've got going for them is already seeing and beating this Osseo Orioles team earlier this year, and that extended what is a 29-game winning streak against the Orioles. But early on, a shot into Ryan Wallen. He thought he swallowed it up, but it turns into a trickle opportunity. Osseo still has it in the zone as they continue to pressure. That's what Osseo's going to have to do. If you want to pull an upset, John, you got to fire some pucks at the net. Hope you get those kinds of bounces and that they go home. That time it didn't.
Great start for Osseo to put that pressure on Wallen right away. And for Wallen, since he made the save, you know, people would say good for him to get a test early on.
Quick push down the ice for Ben Walraff. He'll put it backhanded in towards the other tender, Dale Fannenstein. 85% on his save percentage. Wallen at 90% this year. Spending the most time between the pipes for the Bengals, who do hold it in just barely amidst a change on that far side. Puck goes down towards the goal line. We're 1:10 into this one, scoreless here. First changes for the Bengals. Flying in there now as Fannenstein had that one pop off the boards right in front of him. Swept away by a D-man in front. All the way up to neutral ice where it's picked up by Dane Anderson. 3 goals, 16 assists for Anderson for the Bengals. He has it along in behind the goal line, tried to slip it back to the defenders at the blue line and put it right in between them and out of the zone.
Great energy for both these teams on their early shifts to start this game. You can feel that it's playoff hockey.
You win and you play on. It doesn't matter that the Orioles won 6 of their 18 or that the Bengals scuffled in those 5. You get the new season here. The winner gets the winner of that 2-7 matchup between Centennial and Spring Lake Park, which is also happening tonight at Centennial High School. 2 minutes gone, we're still scoreless here. Playoff hockey in 5-2A. Orioles had the lone best chance so far, but a couple of shots on goal that Fannenstein has had no trouble sweeping away. Now it's the Orioles flying out of the zone with Jacob Bodine, just a sophomore defenseman. Got in between the circles and backhanded it down towards the corner. Bengals are there to stream it out of the zone. Alex Ernest following it up the boards on the far side before he runs into Bodine. Puck stopped right there towards the blue line it goes. Bodine battling with Ernest to keep it out of the zone. It's up down to Fannenstein. He'll touch it up and hold it up for Gabrick Olsen. Junior with a goal and 4 assists to the middle of the ice for Ben Koenig. Koenig surrounded by Bengals on the trap there, but able to poke it ahead. He's looking for Daniel Ellingson. Ellingson, one of the top 3-point scorers on this team with 13 goals and 13 assists. Got to find him in this offensive end. Colin Garrity, senior leader on this team, wraps it around the far side boards for Osseo. 29 straight losses to the Bengals. A lot of those, or rather 5 of those, coming in recent playoff matchups from the blue line. A quick bag for Carson Strike. Goes off the pads of Wallen. Strike will play it back into the zone. Teams have met 5 times since 2005 in the postseason. The Bengals have won all 5 of those. A couple of overtime classics in semifinal Section 5 action at the State Fair. Osseo controlling the puck for a moment, but it slips out to Landon Steffen. Steffen flies to the circle, had it poked off his stick. Steffen, the top goal scorer on this Bengal team that averaged 4 goals a game. They also gave up 4 goals a contest. Their actual goal margin, the splits there just a little bit over even. Under even on the negative side, giving up slightly more than they scored. 3-2, they're out shooting Osseo right now, trying to get some positivity early here and trying to wipe away the sting of those last 5 games where they averaged just over a goal per contest in those 5 losses. Four minutes left here in the first as it flies up ahead for Ben Walraff. Walraff, another top scorer. He ducks below the goal line. Looks to distribute back to the blue line. He got it right back, but wasn't expecting it. He'll circle wide as the Bengals maintain possession in the corner. Taken away though by the Orioles, picked away by Ellingson. He'll fire it up the ice looking for Jack Pojar, one of the other top scorers. Got it right to the middle and save for Wallen. He's knocked into the cage as he stared right down at a flying Luke Sawicki. To make that Pojar, who got it right back in the middle and tried to fire it home.
Here's an earlier chance that we saw right at the beginning, right? And we said, hey, they're doing something right. Same man, Pojar, bringing it in, hands it off to Sawicki, and Sawicki doesn't hit the shot, but really creates some great pressure and then, you know, maintains his composure, right? He didn't fly right into the goaltender. He let someone else do that.
Comes out of the zone off the draw to Luke Steffen. Back to the middle. Backhand chance. Saved by Fanenstein, and he'll cover it up. Good little dangle and backhanded shot for the Bengals.
Yeah, I like that from Blaine, trying to go 5-hole there. Looked like it was open, but good job from the goaltender Fanenstein to shut down the try.
Ty Bunis was hunting his 9th goal of the season off that good feed from Steffen. Draw in the Orioles zone. Slips around the boards and makes it all the way to the blue line before it's chipped back down. Coming up on the 12-minute mark, we're here scoreless. Taken off the wall by Anderson for the Bengals. He tried to get it to Bunis again. Finally catches up to it on the far side boards. Wraps it down, has Steffen. Loses a glove and loses the puck out to the Orioles. They'll shove it near side to Palorenta. Palorenta takes the shot. It caroms high off the pads of Walden.
Took an awkward bounce, too.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
might have been an opportunity for a strange rebound.
No Orioles on the doorstep, though. They do hold it in at the blue line. Force Adam Pooter to go chase it down there. The sophomore gets into a tangle.
Really seeing good speed from the Orioles here in the first period. You know, I mentioned it with the first shift or two, but it has continued, and it's developed into a couple of chances on rushes for this squad.
He bunked to Finn Loftus, sends it up the boards and allows it to be cleared out of the zone. Gets some changes before Loftus has it come bouncing back to him. Cross-ice pass. Ends up at the blue line. Swanson hits Penner, and they say Penner was offside. That looked immaculately timed, but they'll call it back for the neutralized face-off. Could have turned into a break for the Bengals. They met back on the 14th of January. That was the first game, first day you could play high school winter sports way back when. Bengals beat them 7-1. That was at Osseo as well, so the first time they've met here at the Ice House. Orioles pull it out of the zone again. Matthew Holine, defenseman with 9 points on this season, able to chip it through neutral ice. Just hops past Nate Schaefer, defenseman on the other side for the Bengals with 11 points this season, 3 goals and 8 assists. Both of these teams have spread some scoring. More top end of the top 3 scorers for the Orioles. Their bench liked an aggressive check there, moving up the ice from Holine. Feed it out of the zone on the near side. Walraff gets one back too. Now the other bench can cheer that as Strike ended up down on the deck.
Absolutely blindsided on that play. Real physical stuff going on right now.
Teams are not unfamiliar playing in Section 5 as opponents, playing in the Northwest Suburban Conference as opponents. Plenty of matchups tracking all the way back over the last 16, 17 years with those 29 total games. And the last time that the Orioles came away with a win was in 2005, December of 05. Another check along the boards there. That was dangerous, but the puck springs free to the near side. McIntyre just chips it off his stick. First time we've called his name. He's the second leading goal scorer and the #1 in points on this Bengal team. And players get tangled up right in front of Fanenstein. That'll force the officials to come out there. All right, check city here right there for Walraff as the up-in strike, who was going down already. And then bang into the boards. That one looked awkward, but Garrity got the hand out there to keep the head contact away from the boards.
We've seen the physicality from Blaine in the middle of the ice. They've done a good job there. Osseo's giving it right back in the corners is what we've seen for the most part.
Orioles average 3 goals per game on this season, so they'll want to keep it a little lower. They allowed 6 per contest. It was down towards the bottom of the section. Number 6 in defense in Section 5, but right now making the Bengals work for everything. 4 shots apiece here with 9:40 to go in this first period. Walraff skating through neutral ice, found McIntyre, no space to work, so he goes across to Loftus. Shove it into the zone. That'll force McIntyre to try and chase against 4 defenders in orange. Slips past Steffen. Track it down in that corner. There's more hard contact. The puck bounces in off Steffen's skate as he tried to settle it. It ends up in Vandenstein's mitt down on the ice.
What is he doing in the fall? Because he should be posting up outside of a net in the warm weather on the grass. That was outstanding.
Follow the bouncing puck here.
And that's just a deflection. That's not a kick.
Right.
I mean,
he's trying to get that down on his stick, right?
Yeah.
Through neutral, pursuit for the puck there for Jack Pojar.
It's just too long. Icing called on that play.
Couldn't get there. 9:03 to go. It'll travel back to the other end for the Bengals. 0-5 in the last 5 games and 1.2 goals per game scored by the Bengals, and they've allowed just under 6. But you look at all 9 of their losses, John, 8 of those have come to Maple Grove, Andover, Centennial, and Elk River Zimmerman. The same 4 teams giving them trouble. 2 of those teams ranked in the top 7 in the state, and Centennial has played like that certainly throughout the year.
You know, it's funny because it's often the case in the Northwest Suburban that we have teams that are that dominant, that win both matchups during the season. Oh, big chance there.
Yeah, he was hunting there. Lindbergh on the near side.
But the difference this year is that it's not Blaine and Centennial, who are one of the 3 teams that have just dominated everybody else. Centennial's had a better year. That's why they're hosting their own game. But, you know, this is a team that is used to knocking off all those teams themselves. And maybe there's one, maybe Centennial, maybe Maple Grove has a better year than them, but everybody else they've got. And Blaine, you know, came back down to earth a little bit this year.
I think that what that also tells you, if things go right, a couple pucks bounce your way, whether it's in the semifinals or if they make it to the finals of this Section 5 tournament, it could be pretty wide open if you're the Bengals. Obviously, between those 3 teams, 4 teams, or rather 2 of them in the section with Centennial Maple Grove, either one of those could take it. As Loftus sends a shot in, no rebound denied by Vandenstein.
Well, the easier, I mean, you know, I say easier in quotes because this is a section that is very tough, but you do lose Andover.
Right.
And that's the biggest and scariest, in my mind, going into the postseason. Now, Maple Grove right on the heels of the Huskies in terms of really dominant play this year. So don't discredit them by any means, but you do lose one of the top contenders they faced during the regular season here in the section tournament.
7:50 remaining here in the first period as the Bengals trying to scratch something across against this Oriole team. Did give up some goals in the regular season. They could score too. They had some high-scoring games and didn't always lose those games. And so they could give as good as they got. 12 times in 18 games they allowed 5 or more goals, did the Orioles, and they actually went 3-9 in those games. You might expect a team that only has 6 wins to lose a lot of those games where they give up big-time goals. They were able to trade goals back and forth from time to time, but right now we're looking defensive in that physicality, I should say physical nature of this game. It's dominating.
You know, we're talking a lot about the schedule, but I think it's such a unique situation to point out the situation that Blaine is in, the position that they're in, I should say, because they were 9-4. You know, you would think, hey, this is a really good team. They're headed to the postseason red hot, and then they had this stacked schedule down the stretch that, in another way, brings them down to earth, right? So now you're thinking, oh, this is just a 500 team. This is a very good team that can beat anyone in the section except for maybe Maple Grove.
Yeah, they'll have to prove it. I mean, they haven't done it yet against Centennial or Maple Grove, but they'll likely have a shot at both. I mean,
and the reason I didn't say Centennial is because we were here together watching the last matchup when Blaine had that game, right? Up 3-1 in the 3rd period. They let it slip away, but they could play with those Cougars, no doubt.
No doubt about it. And even that game, yeah, it ended up looking a little more lopsided than it certainly was if you watched it with your own 2 eyes, certainly for most of 3 periods. That's down the road. Right now, they still have to get past the Osseo Orioles, who are proving tough here in the first period.
Absolutely.
First time these 2 teams met, the Bengals scored 3 goals in the first, and we're up 3-1. Not the same feeling here with just over 6 minutes to go in this first period.
No, I think this is pretty common from what we've seen from Osseo in the postseason in the past. Osseo has not been a strong section contender for a long, long time, but what they do is play their hearts out in this game at the start. Now, if things start to turn lopsided, we might see a different style of play from the Orioles. But until it's lopsided, they are going to give you everything.
they're just, that one's knocked down in front. And a little shake of the hand there for the Oriole who did that. Bodine feeling it after he knocked that one out of the air. Bengals keep it pinned up. They've gone 2-10 in their last 10 years in section play, have the Orioles, including losing 8 straight. But you're right. Think back to some of those games against the Bengals and others. They've come out hunting an upset win more often than not.
Nice change there for Blaine. Great jump on that puck.
Swanson intercepts. He was trying to get it to Penner. Those two have come awful close to connecting here in this first period a couple of times. Once called back with the offside. Zone was already established this time. Now just chasing the puck. His strike moves it in towards the corner. He dumped it towards the back of the cage. That allows the Orioles to clear up the far side, but they'll wave off the icing. Might have got a piece of Loftus on that far side. The Bengals have to bring it out of the zone. Punched at, shoved past Penner, but he gets it back. Circles to the middle. He's got Swanson to the right. Knocks off the defender. Slows down his pursuit. Taken away by the Orioles.
That was a great push by Penner, in my opinion. He had to almost run over the official to keep that drive going.
Noah Lindbergh ended up with it, bringing it into the zone for the Orioles. Here comes Ernest this time on the backside. He'll dump it past the goal line, avoid the icing, and get the change. McIntyre, Steffen, and Walrath on the top line and back out there. As the scorers go for the Bengals, trying to get something here. Walrath bumped off the puck. It's free out to Palorenta. Sends it along the far side boards with 4:10 remaining here in this first period. Bengals are out shooting them 8-4, but nobody's cashed in. Noah Hitchcock, senior defenseman with 8 points this season for the Bengals, flies it up. Nobody was looking for that puck yet. It tips off the stick of Steffen. Ends up in the zone. We got under 4 minutes to go. Steffen walks towards the pipe, trying the wraparound. Wasn't there. Back it goes to Pooter. Cross-ice pass, back towards the goal line. It'll bang out to Steffen. He's pinned against the boards, needs help from McIntyre and gets it. That one flies across the crease, and a whistle brings us to a stop.
I gotta say, you mentioned the shots on goal being heavily in favor of the Bengals. I would argue the quality scoring chances is even or in the favor of Osseo at this point. I think a player might have had a mask issue, and that's why they blew the whistle when they did.
Some sort of equipment issue on the helmet there for Bodine.
Yeah, you got to specify helmet, not mask, right now.
So the faceoff comes to the glove side of Fanenstein. Sprawling Orioles can't control the puck as Bunis is after it, trying to redirect back in front. Puck just sits on the goal line. Bunis gets it back, shoved away by the stick of Fanenstein. Hops out of the zone, only to be met right there by Nate Schaefer. Shoved back in, but right to the Orioles, brought out by Ellingson.
Great patience by Ellingson.
Fires that into the glove of Ryan Wallen. 9-7 this season for Wallen. 3.8 on the goals against average, and as I mentioned, 90% on the save percentage. He's been steady.
Take another look at some of the chances that Blaine is able to create after the Orioles can't get the puck out of the zone off the faceoff that they won. And so Fanenstein, as you said, using the stick to knock that one away. A good job by him to help his team recover and keep us scoreless.
Bengals, of course, have gone to the section title game in 2 straight seasons. They've been in Section 5 for 13 years now. They've won 6 section titles and been in the section title game 9 of those 13 seasons. Just underscoring what John was talking about, how it's usually the Bengals we're talking about as one of those teams everybody's trying to run down and figure out how to beat this time of year.
Well, the Brodzinski lineage had to end at some point.
Turned over, neutral ice, and taken away by the Orioles, but slapped right back from Sawicki. Slows the pursuit. Ellingson after it in behind the goal line. Taken away by the Bengals. We're down to 2.5 in the first period. We're still scoreless. Bengals were on their way to that 7-1 victory. Now a breakout for Ellingson. He's in on Wallen, who makes the save. No rebound with 2:24 to go. And Ellingson, who's got 13 this season, was looking for the playoff score and just was denied.
Again, it's these rushes that are enormous chances. These are better scoring opportunities than Blaine's had, even though they have more shots.
Good patience there on the side by Sawicki. He wasn't pursued, so he just let Ellingson get into the zone and led him with that pass. Bengals tough in their own zone. Puck caroms back. Played by Penner off the boards. It bounces up ahead, nearly onto the stick of Walraff, but slowed down just enough to muddle things at neutralize. McIntyre hits Steffen. Bouncing puck comes down between two Orioles. Held in by Cannavaro at the blue line. He'll take the shot. Couldn't get it to go as we're under 2 minutes left. That'll be an icing. Missed everybody's stick on the way down with just under 1:50 remaining for the Bengals to try and get on the board here. Bengal fans and equestrian fans. That's going to be my house someday. Coming to something and bringing another toy and not paying attention. Minute 45 to go. Little wrap around for Lindbergh to slap it into the zone, but nobody home. Tough check. Loftus absorbed that as he sent it around the boards. Kicked on that far side, sent down the ice, and that will be an icing to bring it back the other way. Just under 90 seconds to go.
Great pace to this first period, right? And you know, you can blame me for the jinx if it doesn't happen, or if it happens, but we haven't had a penalty. We've just played on. We haven't had a goal, which keeps the play flowing as well. There's not that many whistles. Great action between the two teams, chances both ways, and a fair number of shots to this point.
Minute 25 to go. Yeah, the 0-0 belies that it's been entertaining so far as Steffen hangs on to it to wrap it around into the zone. Looking for Anderson on the weak side behind the net, knocked around by Penner. Back to Loftus. Puck tipped away by the Orioles, slowed on its pursuit by Palorenta. Back to Loftus, looking for an angle, fires it high, and Vandenstein gloves that one. Back to what you said about getting out there in front of the lacrosse pipes too, maybe, with that kind of shot coming at it.
Great angle here. Probably didn't need to grab it, but better safe than sorry.
Plenty of traffic there too for him to keep an eye on that puck. A lot of his own orange and white sweaters there between him and the puck as we go under a minute to go in this swift-moving first period. Hooters shot steered away on the doorstep. Walraff once, and it's McIntyre who comes in on the second rebound and gives the Bengals the first period lead.
It was the first rebound that really led to that opportunity. It should have been clear to the corner. Instead, it awkwardly pops right back out to the front. It stays there after the second shot is saved. It takes 3 tries, but Blaine gets past Vandenstein. Watch this flurry again, right? It should have been cleared away, but instead the defender, Polian, tried to make a play on it instead of letting it go to the wall. He kept it in front, and that allowed Blaine to take advantage. Just really bad luck for the defenders standing there for Osseo.
The senior McIntyre scores his 14th of the year. The leader in points gets another. They give the assist to Ben Walraff, his 22nd assist of the season. 22 of his 30 points come via the assist. And the Bengals in that catbird seat right now with 20 seconds to go in a hard-fought period, and they're going to come out of it with potentially a 1-0 lead. Slapped along the boards. And that one did carry him awkwardly to Wallen, but is able to slide it out. And no, they're going to bring it out for a neutralized faceoff here with 8 seconds to go.
Yeah, there was a player on the bench with his head down for Osseo. I thought it was the player that I called out. It was not. It was another player, and the coach went right over, grabbed his shoulders, let him know there's nothing to hold your head about in this first period, because the Orioles have played every bit with the Bengals, and sometimes the bounces don't go your way in hockey. You still got 2 periods to make up for that.
Yeah, what do we talk about? Those bounces. That's exactly what the Bengals are going to be counting on here in the postseason, and it can be a big-time run. They got the bounce here in the first, kept the pressure on. Their 13th shot on goal goes through Vandenstein and gives them a 1-0 lead in this 5-2A quarterfinal first round. Bengals 1, Orioles 0 after 1 on North Metro TV. A tight first period in this 5-2A quarterfinal matchup. The Blaine Bengals score in the final minute to take the 1-0 lead, but this one was even throughout those first 16 minutes. Early chance, real early, coming in quick. Jack Pochard knocked it through. Nobody home on the rebound after Wallen made the initial save. Then got a little physical. It's playoff hockey, and the intensity was there both ways. You'll see some white run into orange. You'll see a little orange run over some white. Bengals definitely not shying away from the checks. They would get a couple of bouncing pucks that maybe turned into potential opportunities. Orioles with the rush opportunities more often than not couldn't cash those in. That's the best one for Daniel Ellingson right there, hunting his 14th goal of the season. And then with 50 seconds to go, the second rebound chance in for Matt McIntyre, his 14th of the year, and the lone goal of the period gives the Bengals the 1-0 lead. John, if we see more of what we saw from Osseo in the first, there's no reason to believe this still won't be a game going to the third period. It'll be if they can keep the Bengals off the board in one of those flurries and bouncing pucks.
Completely agree. And, you know, we talked about the mistake on the Osseo side, but credit to McIntyre. He didn't try to do too much with that puck. He read the situation, flipped a little backhand up, and put it in to give his team a hard-fought lead. That was not an easy period to come out on top of.
Bengals overall this season were .500. They did go 6-4 against Section 5 teams, which of course they'll see the rest of the way here in the section tournament, trying to hunt another section title in Section 5. That's 6 prior that they've had since they joined the section 13 seasons ago. Only state tournament appearance for Osseo, though, by the way, came back in 1994 as this one's flipped up and Fanenstein settles it in. And they'd be happy with making a run here and going to the semifinals, a place that they have not been since they lost to Maple Grove in 2012. The year before, they lost to Blaine in the semifinals in 2011. That was one of those semifinal battles that the Bengals had to get through before moving on to one of those 6 section titles. By the way, 4 of the last 5 Blaine section titles have featured a win in the postseason against Osseo. Just saying, you can get this one. You never know. Odds ever in their favor. They're out shooting them 14-6 with 16:10 remaining. Here in this second period, high-flying puck pops out of the zone.
That barely grazed the rafters. I wasn't even sure, but the officials felt that it did. So
it's going to work out for the Bengals. Bring it back into the Orioles zone. Orioles went 4-6 in section play.
It's always strange when a player lifts his jersey up like that and you see skin, just because everyone else in here is cold and bundled up with lots of layers, and you forget these guys don't wear a lot of the pads in the jersey. That's it. That's all they need, because they're staying warm, moving up and down the ice.
Stefan fires it through traffic, and it's gloved by Fanenstein. Orioles had a better close to the year. Obviously, we've noted that the schedule difference did not work out in the Bengals' favor in their last 5 games, but Osseo's won 2 of their final 5 games, including an overtime victory over Chamford Park. They gave up the same amount of goals, though, in their last 5 that the Bengals did. Both teams allowing 29 goals in their last 5 regular season games. Lone goal for Matt McIntyre in the first period. Bengals quickly cut off that run with Nate Schaefer, leaving it along the boards for Bunis, who pops it out of the zone. It's knocked down with a high lead of Price. Still dinging for that. And it's going to go into the Bengals zone. Too much possession with the hand there, I guess, as he tried to leap up and knock it down?
Yeah, it's about where you put the puck, right? You're supposed to just drop it down to yourself, but if you push it off to a teammate, then you're in trouble.
Out in front from the blue line, that blast off the stick of Hitchcock, steered away by Fanenstein and quickly out of the zone. Loftus moves it across, quickly back into the zone for Swanson. Swanson diving towards the corner, keeps it himself, looking to redirect, and finds Loftus. Set up in the zone, back it goes to Swanson. He lost the puck, bounces off the wall to Loftus. He'll send it down towards the goal line. Knocked down right in front of the net by the defenseman Kinsella. Was able to recover and knife it out of the zone. Shots on goal margin is trickling deeper in favor of the Bengals. Left behind strike, and he leaves it behind himself. Turns it over to Loftus and company.
Right idea, but didn't click.
Bengals couldn't click themselves into the zone, so had to just dump it down. Gives the chance the Orioles to clear. Nobody really wanted to possess that puck along the goal line, which leaves Swanson able to get in there and take it away. Poked at by Walraff on its way up the ice, but the Orioles will clear. Comes to neutral with Sawicki, all the way into the zone for Sawicki, and gloved as it headed towards the crossbar by Ryan Wallen. 7 of 7 on saves now for Wallen, with 14:39 remaining in this second period.
This is the start of a little try. See if you can get something to happen. Doesn't fool the goaltender, but does force a face-off in the Blaine zone.
Cannavaro off that draw was able to whip it all the way around and out of the zone. In between the circles is Gabrick Olsen. Tried to send it out of the zone, just got as far as the blue line, knocked down again. Colleen has it, taken away from him. Bouncing puck back out to Schaefer at the blue line. D-to-D pass across to Cannavaro. Sent to the circle, bouncing puck. Slapped that by Vandenstein and eventually had to cover it up before the Bengals could get another stick on it.
Some of Vandenstein's best work, in my opinion. That puck deflected right in front of him, so he goes from expecting a low bouncing ball to the high hop that comes off the rock, and he reaches up, grabs it at least to knock it down. That's all you need to do to get it on first.
Bengals control in the zone, though. Through traffic that time, it's steered away by the right pad of Vandenstein. Again, entered in, deflected by the defense, held by McIntyre, taken off his stick to Cannavaro. Circles wide, goes all the way below the goal line. Looking for Schaefer up top. He has him. Instead, hangs on to it. Cannavaro spinning circles, fires into traffic. It deflects off Vandenstein and away. McIntyre keeps it, flips it, and Vandenstein forced to glove it again. So the Bengals will get the change, but keep it in the zone for the draw on their 20th shot on goal.
I think that's one of the differences that we've seen here at the start of this period is Blaine has really upped the shots on goal and challenged Osseo and Vandenstein.
Outshot up 41-15. That season opener that the Bengals took 7-1. Part of that great start that John mentioned, sitting at 9-4 before the 5-game losing skid. Bengals trying to elbow their way back to possession, but it trickles back to Loftus. Skates quickly backwards and crosses ice to Muniz in the middle. Sent up quickly towards the corner before he loses it. Bullies his way back to the puck, fires it across the face of Vandenstein, clear to the near side. Loftus settles it back again, looks for Puder. Back towards the blue line and deflected back behind the cage.
Seeing even better control from Blaine than we saw in the first period. It was an area they had an advantage in, and they've increased it.
Puder sent it down. He had a man falling. Dane Anderson still hacked at that, down on a knee, sliding across the slot. Whirling dervish move to try and find the puck again. Never could. It's out of the zone. Tipped right to Hitchcock, though. Bengal defenseman will slam it down towards the corner. Hanging on to that 1-0 lead. McIntyre scored. 50 seconds to go in the first. An evenly played first period. The ice is tilted a little bit here in the second towards the favor of the Bengals. It'll stay that way with Penner. Trying to fly in. Had it taken off his stick by Pojar. Pojar up ahead to Sawicki. Sawicki goes wide. Dangles around a defender. Got it in front. It was slapped away. I think that was the stick of Wallen. He's down again. A shot deflects wide. Pojar was there on the doorstep. Sawicki out of the corner with it, arm in the air. Bengals will touch it up, and our first penalty of the game will come against Blaine here and give the Orioles a chance on the power play where they scored 7 times in 61 chances this season. Hitchcock sent to the box.
The work done by the top line for Osseo, I mean, they just dominate the stats when you look at goals scored this season, and you saw it there, right? Those guys get on the ice, they create a flurry. What an effort that time, especially by Sawicki in my mind. I think he did the most work, had the best opportunity at scoring a goal.
3 guys, Westman, Ellingson, and Pojar, have scored 70% of the goals, 30 of the 56. They've also had better than half of the assists on the season. I've got a chance to come back even with the skater advantage. Bengal penalty kill at 71% this season, so they've been had a few times down a skater. Giving up 14 total power play goals to their opponents. That one trickles out of the zone, so it'll force the Orioles circle it back and change. Taken away by Walrand. Pushed off the puck, it bounces back to Ellingson. Ellingson flies ahead, dumps it right back to Bodine. Bodine runs into defenders who are able to clear down towards Fanenstein. Coming up on 1:05 remaining in the power play. Orioles re-enter as they've got Pojar back out on the ice. Far side for Bodine into traffic, knocked down by the Bengals, taken away and shoved back down the ice on its end. Rolled quickly down there.
It looked like Pojar was going to come off earlier. He does now, but that top line or that top power play unit wanted more chances. Obviously, the first penalty of this game, so not sure how many times they're going to get out there with a man advantage.
Slow change there too to get their 5 skaters out there that time. Do hang on in the zone for Olsen. Cross-ice pass nearly stolen away into traffic, knocked down by the Bengals. Body given up by Qtr. 10.5 to go. Power play down to 25 seconds. Sawicki fires it across, misses everybody all the way out to the blue line. Back down towards the corner to Sawicki at the point. Has options, goes left. One-time shot into traffic, banged into his own teammate, I think.
It was looking for a headshot, it almost looked like, on his own teammate.
Slapped right back out. Straight away for Sawicki. Goes to the far side for Palorenta. Palorenta leaves it behind the net as the skater resumes, or skater comes back, and we resume 5-on-5. Quickly, Hitchcock trying to battle his way to the puck, and he ends up in the boards hard. And the arm was already in the air, and Hitchcock hasn't gotten up yet, but he appears to be trying to.
You nailed it. I mean, the penalty came before the players crashed into the boards, but after the penalty, they were tied together. It wasn't intentional to drive into the boards that way, but it happened, and it looked scary. You'll see there, his arm is just hooked around the leg. There's nothing he can do to try and get out of that in that quick moment, because the Blaine player, Hitchcock, is sitting on that arm.
And Sawicki didn't come out of that unscathed either. He was up quicker, but he was slow going over to the box himself. Nobody's checking on him. They're checking on Hitchcock just to be sure.
Well, we talked about how big an opportunity the last power play could be for Osseo. I would say the same story here for Blaine. Taking a 2-goal lead is going to feel very large.
Especially under 10 to go is Fanenstein here in this second period. Gloves the 21st shot on goal for the Bengals. 10 power play goals, 26% on the power play percentage for the Bengals. I just don't think it's a large number of power play opportunities. Only 39 on this season, which seems like you could have a few more. Osseo 61 on the flip side. So you could just head-to-head against their opponents. You'd think maybe a few more, but Bengals have this one in front of them now as it's through traffic, saved by the pads and into the glove of Fanenstein.
This is going to make it feel like a very long power play if we get a lot of this, right? Puck possession for the Bengals, shot on, and a save to stop play once again because it's held onto by Fanenstein. The rest of the Orioles need to do something to disrupt what Blaine is doing.
See what the Bengals can do. It's been the blue line blast so far. They'll do it again, and Fanenstein saves the McIntyre offering. You got a scorer right there at the blue line. Again, like you say, it's no shock they try it again.
Well, I think that's the spot that they can score from, but it's also, you know, just an attitude about attacking the goalie, right? And forcing Fanenstein to work and work and work out there. Kind of, you know, if you're boxing, you work the body, even though you're probably not going to get your knockout there. Same thing.
Deflected puck comes to the near side. Swanson tried to send it in and nearly did. Make it Anderson, excuse me. And then it was saved by Fanenstein, and we get the whistle because the net came on board.
Either you're big or you become big, because he wasn't really looking to make the save. He just spread his body out and got it on there, right?
Blocker in the right place at the right time. Creep our way through this power play with 80 seconds to go. Loftus lost it. Of course, the Bengals to spend some time. Hitchcock, the lone goal is Stefan looking for that feed. Bounces back to Loftus. 9 times in 18 games, McIntyre has had at least 2 points in a contest. Everybody's been a little stymied of late, though, in that stretch against those tough teams. The icing here, so another chance.
That's a break for Osseo for sure.
They're 66% on the penalty kill. And on the kill 73 times.
You know, the special teams not stellar for either of these teams on either side when you talk about the numbers. But the opportunity is always there, and you'll take it if you can get it.
Loftus doing a lot of the puck handling on this power play. Drives it all the way down to the circle and tried to send it in. And Fanenstein upended by a Bengal. He's looking for Walraff in tight. Puck never got there, but the captain did. He seems to be okay. They're going to send Walraff off. Yep.
Yeah.
So that will eliminate the power play.
Interference call. Take another look, because this happened in a blink of an eye. Get it to the front, and by the time it got there, the collision was already happening. So, I mean, if you're Osseo, you're lucky that that puck didn't deflect awkwardly in, because your goaltender wasn't going to be able to make a save on it. Right call, I think, to put Blaine in the box.
So it's 4-on-4. Another 44 seconds here.
You see that top line for Osseo come out for 4-on-4. Those are the best skaters they have.
Bengals control off the draw. Steffen brings it out of the zone over to Loftus. Loose puck toward Pooter. He can't really connect, so it's loose out there for Ellingson. Flies it up the ice to the far side for Pojar. Pojar sends it in and saved by Wallet. Towards 20 seconds left in 4-on-4. Pojar's the number 3 goal scorer, but number 2 in points for Osseo. He's had points in 3 straight games and a goal in 3 of the last 4. As John said, that's going to be somebody they look to try and break this scoring drought. Nate Schaefer comes back out there, junior defenseman for the Bengals. McIntyre receives that draw, has it taken away off the boards on the far side by Ellingson. Ellingson pounded, but maintains possession with 8:05 to go. Finds Pojar at the circle. He'll take this shot. Whips around. Came just to the far side of the post and hit the glass and curved around the ice. 4-on-4 about to expire, so the Orioles, well, 2 things happening. Got caught up with the official, but also ready to stall and get the man coming out of the box. Pojar along the far side with it as they've got the skater advantage for the 2nd time here in the period. Held in by the slapping stick of Ellingson. Worked back out on the near side, up into Wallen. He knocked it down with the shoulder and the rebound comes out. Pojar to Ellingson, back to Pojar. Karam's awkwardly off his skate, controlled by Holine. Holine to Pojar on the goal line. Trying to center in front. Got it there. Loose puck. Nobody with the shot. Back in front. Long shot for Ellingson. Steered away by the defense. Comes to the near side again. Pressure still on. Through traffic and home. Deflected off the offering from Holine. They might give Jacob Bodine the goal. We'll see how they sort it out. But Holine's blast from the blue line created the chance, and we're tied at 1.
Bodine and Pojar were the 2 guys just camped out in front of the crease. In my mind, it could be either one. But Osseo, we said they'll take the chances if they can get them. This time, they capitalize.
Hard to see.
Yeah, I think that's Bodine.
Yeah, they're stacked right there, so Pojar technically could have hit it even after, but
I think that's a hip goal, because I think that went right off the hip of Bodine in front of Pojar.
So we'll give it to Bodine, barring anything else, but Holine.
I'm going to give it to Bodine, even if the announcement says otherwise.
Just to keep, yeah, that's
we
true.
had the slow motion replay. I feel pretty good about number 4.
I thought you were doing it just to keep the lyrical nature of Holine to Bodine.
No, that's your job.
Yeah, right. I am very lyrical. 7:02 to go and a new game as we're tied at 1. The power play goal. Evens us up. That interference with the goaltender turns big here in the 2nd. And with that development under 7 to go, we certainly have ourselves a game headed towards the 3rd. All right, well, they went the complete opposite way and just gave it to Holine.
Oh, I thought they said Bodine. Now I have no idea what's going on.
No. We'll go with what we did.
Yeah.
They were all a part of it.
So they gave an assist on the play to Ellingson as well. We can take one more look. The truck backing us up here. That redirects right off of number 4.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. You see it definitely going back the other way. No way a puck's going to turn like that. Back and to the right. And it's a goal for the Orioles either way. That undisputed. So for Bodine, that would be his first goal of the season, by the way. So he might want to fight for that. The sophomore defender.
Yeah, what was he doing in front of the net?
It was weird. He was almost screening Pojar, who could have maybe had to tap it in for his 13th of the season.
Tap it in. You got to use your hands for that? Just use the hip.
On the goal line, that one slams into the back of the cage. This is a situation, we talked about it when the Bengals were on the power play. If they get a second goal and make it 2-0 late in the second, that's pretty big. Now you're in a spot where whoever scores this next goal, they're going to be able to seize that momentum likely going into the third. Or do we go tied that way? We'll get the face-off to the stick side of Wallen. Have to redo. Hitchcock sends it off of the near side boards. Right in the middle of the ice, it finds Pojar. He was cut off by 2 Bengal defenders. Hangs on to possession. Towards the middle of the ice and knocked down by Walrath. Trying to get it to step, and it was intercepted. Bengal bench likes that one. Wraps around towards Hitchcock. Pojar tries to stay with him. It goes to Ellingson. Ellingson reverses course back out to the blue line. Orioles to set it up, instead wrap it around. Pojar sends it right back out in front. Ellingson whips around and it's knocked down by Walrath. Forward, sacrificing the body, now takes it up ice, has it pocket picked from behind. Still not out of the zone, but Ellingson can do that. Finds it ahead, and that is going to be an icing to bring it back the other way after a whole lot of contact there. Steffen dragged to his bench by his teammate after he was shoved into the wall. Also was looking for his stick, which his teammate didn't realize.
Blaine just always given extra, and in the way that might get them whistled if they keep it up.
5 minutes to go. That sorts out as a draw in the Orioles zone. Their shot on goal barrage to start the period is definitely slowed. Penalties part of that.
Yeah, I think those penalties were a mental motivator for the Orioles. Yeah, they led to a goal eventually, but even just the fact that it gave the Osseo a chance to move to the other end of the ice, create some opportunities. There was a change in the step before the goal was scored, and really I feel like Osseo was playing with that fire they started the game off with in the opening period.
You said they're out here every single year hunting an upset. That's just the way their regular seasons have gone. Bouncing puck to Bunis.
Offsides.
He was offsides. All right.
Yeah, that would have been a big chance. Big chance for Blaine if that would have developed the way they wanted.
When you look at these teams that the Orioles have run into in the first rounds of postseason, Maple Grove back-to-back years in 14-15, Centennial back-to-back years, 16-17, Maple Grove again, lost to Blaine 2 years ago, and last year lost to Centennial. Drawing tough cards every year to try and pull that upset. Break up an 8-game losing skid in section play.
I mean, you talk about the card that they draw, that's being the 6, 7, and 8 seed. Right. Year in and year out, you're going to play those teams.
Schaefer swing and miss. Garrity down the ice. Backhands it, not much on it, but forces Wallen to cover up just outside of 4 minutes to go here in the second period.
I don't want to diminish what the other lines do, but we've illustrated that there's a clear dominance from a scoring standpoint for these Orioles. So if you're the line that's just on the ice, and you finish by getting a face-off inside the Blaine zone to allow that line to return to the ice, you've done your job. You kept the Bengals off the board. You gave the high-scoring, high-powered portion of your team a chance.
It's quickly out of the zone as they can't control that draw, but right back to neutral ice. By the way, we haven't seen one of those top scorers in Cade Westman. So I'm not sure what the story is there, but he was the third running mate with Ellingson and Pojar throughout the season. Westman, a senior with 14 goals and 16 assists. And I don't think he's been on the ice all night. But you've still got two double-figure goal scorers in Pojar and Ellingson that you're dealing with. So under 4, the lone goal in the period belongs to Jacob Bodine. Sticking with that off the Matthew Holine, offering towards the front of the net. This one trickles all the way back out to the blue line, sit right back in, and Blaine makes the save.
Yeah, we're sticking with it. Hips don't lie, I've heard.
Shots on goal, 22-14 in favor of the Bengals. Told you the winner of this one gets either Centennial or Spring Lake Park. Osseo and Spring Lake Park had to battle to see who would play who. In their final game of the regular season, that matchup was postponed until that final day. Orioles came out on top. Congratulations, you get the 6th seed. You get to come to Blaine and play the Bengals in their own ice house. Wallen makes a save almost directly off the draw. By the way, wherever you're watching this one, after the fact, later tonight you'll be able to watch that Centennial Spring Lake Park game, so look for that on North Metro TV. Future viewers. Always nice to be able to talk into the future a couple of hours. Anderson tries to bring it up ice for the Bengals. Eunice does enough to leave possession for his team and neutralize. Not enough to earn it into the Osseo zone. Anderson trying to fight to keep it there. He'll chase down in towards the corner. Holine in with him. Touched it, left it behind for Rudy Runyon. Off the wall to Lindbergh. A big hit there. Leaves Lindbergh down at the blue line. I think this is just a whistle to attend to him. I didn't see an arm go up.
Well, the bench reacted for Osseo right away, and I can see why. You know, the official that was closest to it was starting to look up ice at that point, so didn't get a full view of that play. Yeah, I think, you know, I'm kind of used to Osseo being the bully boys in the postseason, and again, part of that is because some of these games get out of hand, and they've gone to that in the past. But here tonight, they're playing a clean brand of hockey, and they're expecting the same from their competition, and Blaine has brought the physicality. They have been the more physical team so far.
Fluttering puck just ducks past the stick of Wallen. Under 3 minutes to go here in the second period. Lone goal on the power play scored by the Orioles. Trying to come back and get another right back in front. Bounding puck off the shoulder of Vandenstein, and it's cleared away. Good drive for Pinner and Swanson again.
Tip of the cap to Vandenstein on that play. The 2-on-1 developing. Blaine got it to the open man for the shot. Vandenstein gets the job done.
A little extracurricular there too that they're going to have to sort out.
Well, I think Osseo's tired of not getting the calls if they're going to take the beating, so they're ready to push back. But this is a 1-1 hockey game, and everything is out there for both of these teams to try and advance to the semifinals.
Bengals lose the zone after that deflection. Back to the other end of the ice. Cannavaro sprints to the puck to wrap it around towards McIntyre. Waits for somebody to develop there at the blue line. It's the Orioles who get to the puck first. In and out of the zone. Back in and out. Pojar dumps it down towards the corner. Leaves it for Hitchcock. Niftily left the puck behind right there. If he didn't need to, it worked out for him. Towards McIntyre, off the boards, drop down, right in front. Back it goes to Ellingson, and Sawicki can't redirect. Nifty moving from McIntyre out of the zone. Bengals hunting the penalty there. If they would have called that one, the Oriole bench would have gone nuts. Now 2 players hit the ice.
And I'm not necessarily with my last comment saying that Blaine deserves more penalties.
Right. But you could see it happening.
But I can see why the Orioles are frustrated.
McIntyre fires a puck towards Vandenstein. No traffic there as he tried to settle it down and he kept it in play. Coming up on 80 seconds to go here in this second period. It's featured a power play goal from the Orioles to tie things at 1 apiece. Final minute here of play as Landon Steffen, a lot of stick handling, and hit his way to the blue line. Trying to work across with McIntyre. Walraff was onside there on the near side. There's the physical play along the boards. Gets the puck back to the Orioles. Luke Steffen hunting the puck back for Blaine. Does enough to keep it in the zone and force a shot on Vandenstein. He makes his 26th save of the night with 40 seconds to go.
And I think as you watch the physical play again, there's the call that Blaine wanted. You could see Coach Carroll's arm go right in the air.
Maybe on another night, but that's not how this one's playing out. Penner from the corner sends it right back out in front. A lot of traffic, couple shots and steered away. Back to Booter at the blue line to Loftus. Loftus settles, has that one deflected, makes its way to Penner. Duck below the goal line. Coming up on 25 seconds to go in the second period. Bengals hanging onto the zone. Booter to traffic, deflected wide. Loftus cycles down to pick up the puck. Final 13 seconds. Loftus left alone. He'll walk along the goal line. Tried to send it back in front. It was deflected. Orioles do just enough in this final 15 to keep a clean shot away. They say no icing, so the Bengals won't get one last desperation chance. And that's how the period will end. The only scoring for the 6th-seeded Osseo Orioles. They get a power play goal from Jacob Bodine. And they the Osseo Orioles hunting themselves an upset. Picked up a goal in the second. The lone score in the second period here in this quarterfinal matchup in 5-2A. The Orioles came out, challenged Ryan Wallen a couple of times, but the ice early in the second period tilted in favor of the Blaine Bengals. That was Dale Vandenstein's territory, knocking away some good opportunities. And then on the power play, later in the period, the Bengals get a good deflection. Jacob Bodine, little hip check of the puck, knocks it to the back of the net, and that sets us at 1-1. Game with 7 minutes to go in the period. Entered in there by Matthew Holine, and we are 1-1. Well, we said it, John, that if the Orioles played the way they did in the first period, we'd have ourselves a game. We've certainly got that. The Orioles did themselves one better, getting that late goal.
Well, it didn't start right away. It didn't come until Blaine put themselves in the penalty box, and that's when a little more life was shown. It carried on after that first power play didn't go their way. They do get the power play goal, and that carried them all the way to the end of the period. And maybe there might have been something a little extra happening towards the end of the period, but they lost one of their better skaters towards the tail end. He's back out there now, not an injury, but some kind of equipment malfunction towards the tail end. So hopefully they're able to skate as much at full strength as they can be. Again, without Cade Westman, who did finish the regular season, but hasn't played out there that we've seen tonight.
It'll also be interesting to watch how this game's officiated in the third. It's been very physical all throughout. We did have 2 penalties on the Bengals in the second period and 1 on the Orioles. So really, both of those, or all of those, not really stemming from those types of checks that we were seeing, so there hasn't been a lot called to quell that. And at this point, you kind of hope that continues because that's not how it's been officiated so far. And you want the final 17 to go like the first 2 periods. I
agree. There could be a breaking point, though. If things escalate more than they have been, you could see that. And a clamp down to follow.
Right to left go the Orioles here in the period. Still looking for that next goal after it's been tied at 1 apiece. Who can seize some of that momentum on the scoreboard? Bengals are out shooting them 25-15 coming into the period. As Ellingson takes it away, circles wide to get a little space on this fresh sheet. Wallen has it pop up off the stick and over the crossbar. McIntyre ends up down on the deck on top of Ellingson. Both slide with the puck to the wall. Nobody with clear possession. It's held in at the blue line. Bengals still can keep it in the zone if they want. A little tough to do so. Now it flies back in there. Pushing it out of the zone to McIntyre. McIntyre on a break, takes the shot and he scores! There's the scoreboard momentum in the second for McIntyre.
Breakdown there for the Orioles, no doubt, and it's all credit to McIntyre. That was a one-man show. He puts the slightest of moves on as he crosses the blue line to lose a defender. That puts him alone with the tender. He's got help to his left. Fanenstein knows it. Fanenstein expects the pass. And that shot really going right into that top corner, pops the water bottle. Beautiful goal.
15 now on the year for McIntyre. That puts him within one of Landon Steffen for the team lead. And most importantly right now, gets them a one-goal lead. Luke Steffen to slide it back between the circles there, had it intercepted by the Orioles. Still a long way to go. Osseo going to dig deep here, down a goal for the second time in this game. Spent most of the second period rather, a little over 10 minutes down by a goal. After Blaine scored in the final 50 seconds of the first period. They did give Noah Hitchcock the assist. Quick push in for Ellingson, couldn't control it. Trying to keep it in for Pojar and company, tapped at by Loftus. Up off the boards and out of the zone. Bounds all the way back for Sawicki. Stops on a dime.
Yeah, Sawicki coming off the bench to chase that. So, you know, he hits the ice with limited momentum. And charges onto the puck to make sure that Blaine can't get some kind of rush going with that.
Orioles toss it into the zone again. Off the boards, met by Nate Schaefer Jr. Sends it towards the blue line, played back to him by that Oriole push. Sends it on the far side. That time it runs into Sawicki again. Just barely holds the zone, but it deflects back out. Sawicki was on the blue line, and Pojar was pinned down deep and couldn't get all the way out of the zone there, so it turns into an offside. Neutral close to the Bengal blue line. They've got the 2-1 lead, courtesy of McIntyre. He's got 2 points in a game now for the 10th time in 19 tries. Both of these coming big as goals. Turned over. Steffen cut off there before he can enter the zone. McIntyre putting the pressure on, so the puck bounces back to Steffen. He's bullied off the puck. Bengals trying to hang on to it. Steffen hops right back up. 14 minutes to go in this game. 1-goal lead. McIntyre knifes his way to it as Hitchcock tries to take the shot instead. Got his stick caught up just a little bit. Misfired. Turned into a change and a dump of the puck back into the Osseo zone. Steffen was after that. He lost an edge and took down Ellingson as well. The Orioles try to break out of the zone here. Held up just enough. Now Cannavaro will send it down, and Steffen and Ellingson get tangled up again. As Steffen tries to make his way to the bench. Ellingson's still out there. He's got the puck now.
That wasn't very subtle by Ellingson that time.
That time he's getting tangled up with everybody because now he's tied up with the official for a second.
When you get tired legs, you're not quite as nimble, and he's been out there a bit.
Still eared the bench just a second ago and circled back out to neutral ice. Pojar flies it up. Ellingson ready to go in with Sawicki. Tucks in behind him. Sawicki takes the shot, deflected down. Looked like Pooter got a piece of it before it even headed towards the crease. Moved around the boards, held in by Holin. It's intercepted in front of the net, sent up the ice. Holin is right there to keep Swanson away from a break.
I think a good and maybe a little bit lucky recovery there by Holin that it took so long for Blaine to get an outlet pass up ahead.
Deflected puck once and twice, ends up there to Ellingson. It's back to the high point, knocked down off of Wallen's pads as he tried to save Sawicki, and it comes back the other way for Cannavaro. He'll fire it hard off the glass, leave that for Bunis to try and pursue in the zone. Instead it comes flying out for the Orioles. Tapped around at neutral. Bunis nearly took it away and still free for Luke Sawicki. Back up to the blue line, onto the back of the stick of Anderson. flutter it into the zone. Finds Luke Steffen down there. Out of the corner. Steffen, a little rapid back down towards below the goal line. Garrity has it on the near side, the far side boards rather. Knocks it around with his hand, but can't keep it in the zone. Flies back to Schaefer. Cross it comes to Hitchcock, back to Schaefer. Touched by Anderson on his way down the ice as we go under 12 minutes to go. Bengals with an early goal here in the third to take a 1-goal lead for the second time in this one. Bouncing puck back to Walraff. He'll take the shot and score! Bad bounce and Walraff makes him pay.
You called it. It's the bounce. It landed right in front of Walraff. And the captain does the rest. Big, big goal for Blaine to take that 2-score advantage here in the third period.
First time they've been up by more than a goal all night, and it comes here with just 12 minutes to go. Walraff to the face-off as he gets to double figures, or excuse me, that's 9 now. To go along with his 22 assists, including his assist on the first goal of the night for the Bengals, who maintain possession again. Qtr creeping in, trying to find a crashing Walraff once more. Just put it behind him. Gave Anderson the assist, creating that bounce. 3-1, long shot. There was some open net there as Wallen was trying to get reset again as a puck come flying at it. Deflected up and over the crossbar, now deflected up and out of play with just over 11 minutes to go. 3-1, 2 from McIntyre and 1 from Walraff. To your top 3 in points, getting it done as you go back to that bounce.
It was supposed to be a clear, and instead ends up right with Walraff. One of the interesting things is that we have the snapshot of the entire season in between the games that these two teams played. So you start the season off with a 7-1 victory, for Blaine. And I don't think you could ask a single person who would say that Blaine is worse now than they were at the beginning of the season, right? They've gotten better all year long. But Osseo has, instead of losing today 7-1, and we don't know what's going to happen, but it's certainly going to be tighter than that, you would think. And that's without Westman, who we've talked about not being on the ice. One of their best scorers, and yet they've played a hockey game that's competitive with this 3 seed.
Delayed penalties, so there's an extra skater on the ice with the goalie free on the opposite side. Orioles trying to get it to work for him here. Finally, the Bengals touch up in behind the net. They will have a power play opportunity for the 3rd time in this game. And that trip right there is what started.
That's a little tough for Schaefer. He got kind of knocked around himself a little bit, and how much he meant to stick that lumber out and trip up the Oriole player, I'm not sure.
But it's going to turn into an advantage for Osseo. Trying to get this back to a 1-goal game here on special teams. The Bengals will fly it right down the ice. Force Fanenstein to play it around the boards with pressure coming from Walraff. We hit the 10-minute mark. We got a minute 45 of power play opportunity left. Trip is called, as John mentioned, for Schaefer. Bodine out of the corner with it. Couldn't cleanly pull it out of the corner, so Loftus takes it away for the Bengals. Clears the zone. Minute 30 remaining in the power play. Walraff first to the puck, shorthanded. Wraps it back around to Loftus. Loftus right back to Walraff. Playing with it deep behind the net. Plays keep away, walks in, back to Loftus. Bouncing shot, steered away by Fanenstein. Good hop, ends up on the stick of Helene. Up to Ellingson. Helene there to try and keep it in the zone, and instead Pojar, he'll fire that one, deflected high into the netting.
He loves that big clapper right after coming in. It hasn't worked out so far today, but obviously he scored his fair share of goals this season.
He'll sit, line change for the power play opportunity with the draw coming to the stick side of Wallen.
I'd like to see him on the next play go for the changeup, right? You gotta at least get the goaltender off your tendency.
Orioles Bengals at a crucial moment. Time starts to run short as they're down by 2 for the first time. Long pass up ahead, first touched and out by the Bengals. Force him to resend it into the zone. It's taken away instead by Penner. Penner had ball wrapped to the middle, couldn't hang on to the puck. Orioles doing a lot to try and get it back. Penner slices in, backhand try, deflected away. He had Bunis right behind him for maybe a wide open one-timer.
You called it. He should have found Bunis. Bunis clapped that stick down on the ice. We could hear it all the way up here very clearly.
It'll be an icing, so the Bengals shorthanded will come back to the other end. Just under 20 seconds to go in the power play. Orioles' lone goal of the night has come on the advantage. Fans on the far side. Yes, not a lot of team gear or colors right there in that group. I think they're sitting in that section.
But their masks are blue.
There you go. Sawicki enters it into the zone, nearly leaves the puck behind. Up ahead a little bit too strong, touched by the Bengals, makes its way to Polorenta. Corner for the Orioles. Sawicki with it again, lost it to McIntyre, and right out of the box comes Schaefer. Schaefer on Fanenstein and will score! Well, he might not have been happy going into the box after he was knocked into a tripping penalty, but he was sure thrilled coming out.
Ooh, do we have a Denny Hawking situation here? Did someone get injured on the celebration?
McIntyre slow to get up.
He's got 2 goals today.
Schaefer's got that one to make it 4-1. And the way the momentum shifts, thinking of scoring a goal to get back to a 1-goal game on the power play, and then immediately as it expires, giving one up. And that's going to be tough. So look at the goal. Good bounce. McIntyre drags it up to Schaefer right out of the box. Pops the bottle. Sends the Bengals to a 4-1 lead. McIntyre.
Now he went to the bench, and as soon as he did, that's when the officials were asked to come over, and they're chatting with the coaches.
Was he helped into the wall there? Because that looked awkward. He was headed for the celebration, but it's not like he went down after jumping into the glass.
Yeah, I agree.
A la Denny Hawking.
So
there's the jump. And did McIntyre get a shove there?
Yeah, he got tripped up possibly. Can't see it 100%, but
Schaefer's 4th goal of the season. McIntyre will get his 18th assist.
Here's another view. Now, you can't quite see it, but you can see the skater with his stick down for the Orioles. Interesting.
Interference is going to come immediately here.
Yeah, we get a little penalty right afterwards. And there was contact, but is that a call that would have come in the first 2 periods? I don't know. So could it be a makeup? Could it be, hey, this is now a 3-goal game, and so it's not competitive enough to let this stuff slide? Let's shut it down at this point? I don't know. To me, with 8 minutes left and a 3-goal difference, that's not the time necessarily for the officials to lean in a little bit to try to speed up the game. I can't 100% say that's what the call was about. It's just a possibility.
So under 8 minutes, we've talked about it. This is the spot, unfortunately, the Orioles have found themselves in. These games not going their way. Power play opportunity, loose puck trickles in behind the net. They get Carson Strike, the senior defenseman. So McIntyre, a whale of a game. The first 2 goals for the Bengals, including one to start the period that made it 2-1. He gets the assist on this 4th goal of the night. Cashed in by Schaefer. McIntyre fires it as he creeps down the slot too high. He's looking for gravy right now. They've put this 5-game losing skid, it would appear, behind them. That one slips out of the zone. Bengals have to re-enter with Loftus there, and McIntyre turned it over. Ellingson tried to maintain, and it comes right back to Anderson. Orioles doing enough to slow things up, but it bounces to Steffen. Steffen loses a stick.
Orioles trying to burn time,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, they're the ones who need that clock if they're going to try and come back in this game.
So
I mean, if you're Blaine, you could have just stood there for 6 minutes and 51 more seconds.
Wouldn't that have been rough?
If that's how the team's going to play it.
I suppose they could have. So they'll get either Spring Lake Park or Centennial. As we sit here live, it's about 20 minutes away from that one, dropping the puck to determine who's the second round opponent. The sheet of ice will be occupied by the girls of Blaine and Centennial.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good on time for that supposed 7:30 start.
Have time to go outside and warm up a little bit?
Possibly. It's your feet, isn't it?
What's that?
It's your feet, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's not as much you can do for your feet. Unless they're really committed to the snow boots, which camera operators are today.
Yeah, they know.
Always credit to them. Josie and Kirsten have it on lock.
I mean, you got your feet off the floor, so that's good.
That's true.
You know, maybe cardboard next time so you can stand on that. That was
they are.
The secret that I was very unaware of going to cold weather games, the cardboard.
Mike's down there behind the net. I honestly, I didn't see him before the game, so didn't know who was on the third cam. Good to have 3 out in the truck production here for the playoffs. And it's seen the Bengals hunting a 5th goal right there for Steffen. Couldn't quite get it past Fanenstein, but it's seen the Bengals close this one strong despite a tough game from these Osseo Orioles, the 6th seed. All right, this is the situation you want to stay away from here.
Yep.
The physical nature of this game, it was good and useful at times while it lasted in a tight ball game, but this is when things start to trickle out of hand. It's going to be the Orioles who are dinged for it. Again, they'll have 2 in the box. Strike is sent right back over there. You got the first penalty on this. Trying to clear space, and he did it with a shove right to the face.
I think, you know, if you come over and you put a hand on a shoulder and you give a little shove, they're not going to say anything.
Right.
But you put your hand right in the face and then you do it over and over again. You pump that elbow to put the palm right into the face repeatedly. It's going to draw the penalty. Or is it?
Yeah, we might have a Bengal.
Oh, I see.
Who are they throwing out here? Is Strike leaving?
Strike's watch has ended, as you like to say. You could strike him from the game.
It was 2 strikes in his zone.
There we go.
Back to back in the box. And Walraff going to be allowed to stay in the game. All right, so there's Walraff after the fact, sees his teammate get pumped in the head.
And he pulls his teammate away.
Wow. Do you think he's... Gee whiz.
Well, ref, you should know better than to try and break up a fight by only touching your teammate and pulling him away.
But in defense, I mean, this isn't very defensible, but he's not getting thrown out of the game. He is in the penalty box.
What do we see? I'm looking at his stick. I'm trying to see what he did.
Doesn't even look
I
like
see nothing. You've got, I mean, I think an overreaction with the ejection, and then you've also got Walraff in the penalty box for no reason that I can see. Interesting. Now, we said there might be a crackdown, right? If things started to get out of hand, we were continuing to see physical play. Had it escalated, maybe a bit, but this might be an overcorrection.
What were you saying about that 7:30 game, by the way? As we continue this conversation, Bengals trying to figure out how many skaters they're going to have on the ice. And, well, it should be 5-on-4, right?
Looks like the Cougar ladies are thinking about going back to the concession stand.
Yeah, they're ready. They're geared up. Big matchup with the Bengals after they got a win over Anoka Spring Lake Park on Tuesday to start their playoff run. They were in the situation the Bengals were tonight. And so 2 minutes on Walraff. Of course, the 5-minute major on Strike, which gets him out of the game, but also keep a guy in the penalty box for a while. And we've got 4 on 3. Oh, right, yeah, I'm sorry. We had 5 on 3. Then we lost the skater for the Bengals. So, yes, 4 on 3. I can do the math as Fanenstein makes an initial save. McIntyre was hunting his hat trick. And that will bring things to a stop. Don't envy the PA guy right here. Got himself a dissertation
call on Walrath. When did the slash happen? It must have been before we were watching, right? But that seems like a weird retroactive place to go to.
He was the last guy sent off the ice.
That's true. Oh.
Open net for Penner, and he just put it into the side of the cage. Too close on the doorstep. Loftus to Steffen. Deflected up into the netting. Officials are right on it now. About any time things come to a close. That is a beautiful feed on the backhand. Was that McIntyre again?
It was gorgeous. Penner, you're not going to get much better an opportunity.
If he's a half a step back, though, he might have a little more room to work, but he'll want that one back every time. Loftus all alone on this 4 on 3 with all kinds of space. Back to Steffen, trying it right there again, and the puck trickled through, and the Bengals couldn't knock it home. Fanenstein thought he had it covered up, as did a lot of people on the ice. And the Bengals crashed after it and couldn't knock it home. 5 minutes to go. Steffen's entry trickled, oh my.
Great, you know, let's call it out, right? That's Holine there. Holine was the player who, that very first goal had an unfortunate deflection that if he just left alone, they would have been in much better shape. Here, he saves the day because that was a gift horse waiting for the Bengals to extend the lead.
Did he go reverse 5-hole to clear that one out, by the way? It might have gone back
yes.
under.
Oh, he absolutely did, because you watched the way it pops out from the previous view, and you could see that it came right out.
Another save. Fanenstein, here it is again.
We could watch it all day.
Goes through. There's Holine. Quick to it. Yep.
Yep.
Right back out.
Put it in there and try and keep it safe.
So things have gotten a little less tense. Well, for us, down on the ice, there's some tension between the two teams, but the Bengals up 3 on the scoreboard, feeling pretty good right now. I feel like we've been on this side of the ice with the skater advantage forever now, as we're back to 4 on 4 hockey at the least right now.
Yeah, I don't expect that to change much down the stretch.
And the Bengals will get an advantage here in another 45 seconds.
The mental game is so important in any sport, and right now Blaine, with a 3-goal lead in the closing minutes, has that, you know, completely dominated.
Ellingson, he's given a lot out on the ice today. The senior, a good year for him. Just couldn't get that extra goal early as Steffen's shot pad saved away by Fanenstein. That early puck bounces their way inside the first 15 seconds. They're up 1-0, running from ahead with the way they played in that first period. A couple of good bounces have gone the way of the Bengals. 2 of the 4 goals. I think back to 5 skaters.
I think the Bengal depth really won the day here today, because we talked about how Osseo has 1 line, and yeah, McIntyre has a pair of goals today, but this Bengal team controlled so much of the play because it wasn't just 1 line that was making things happen for them. And they don't even necessarily mean in a strictly scoring sense. They made plays all over the ice with every single guy who got out there.
Trying to get it to Walrath, it was intercepted. McIntyre fires that one too high. It was the wrong netting there.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's not our first time. 4-1 Bengals. We got the cat clash coming up. Timeout? No, what did he do? He did. It is a timeout. Players got the memo a little bit late. So the Orioles take a timeout with 3:03 to go. Cats and Birds in this one. 2 cats. Cougars and Bengals coming up on this sheet of ice. Girls edition. Bengal fans.
They have to leave.
They will. Have any brother-sister combos, same family coming? I don't know that we do.
For the Bengals?
For the Bengals.
The Cougars do, but we don't have Cougar boys here today. So
I don't know how many will come back. But I'm sure there'll be a good crowd for the nightcap of our doubleheader. This bunch got out here early to see the Bengals in a 1-1 tie to the third. They've scored 3 times here in this period. McIntyre's second, Walraff with 1. And Schaefer, 1 right now that serves as some icing on the cake. To break a 5-game losing skid, keep this season alive. Head to the semifinals with a chance to go to a 3rd straight section title game for the Bengals. Team, that good start we mentioned, they'd won 7 of 9 prior to losing those 5 straight to close the year. McIntyre and Loftus up a skater still. It's going to stay that way until there's about 40 seconds left, a little less than that. Short-handed, Colleen goes wide, steps inside, and has it knifed away there by Dane Anderson. It's a guy that's brought some of that depth. Those little plays, not maybe the scoring, but Dane Anderson has played well in this quarterfinal matchup. Bouncing puck, he swipes it away to the far side. Pojon trying to center it. Can't get it in past McIntyre. Trying to hang on to it all the way out of the zone. Turned over by the Bengals. Flies through neutral ice. Loftus after that one quickly.
Is there an offsides? What's the whistle there? I mean, the goaltender's not in the net. Oh, it was a delayed penalty. Excuse me. That's why.
Back behind the play. Luke Sawicki. He'll be back. He's a sophomore. Didn't like it. And came in from behind on McIntyre, who was already on a leg. There was some more physicality near the glass. Away from that. Yeah, there you go. There's 3 Orioles in the box. So there's already 1, add 2.
Yeah, they got to kick a skater off. There it goes. With all those players in the penalty box.
What the official capacity of a penalty box is. 3 is pushing it.
You want to get the fire marshal out here and check?
2 minutes to go. So Ellingson and Strikes is still the major, so he's still in there. Ellingson and Sawicki, the new arrivals. Actually don't know who's in there for Strike, because Strike's in the dressing room right now. Tip puck on its way to Fanenstein. He'll make the save with 95 seconds to go. So this one certainly got out of hand, starting at the 8:07 mark after the Bengals scored right at the end of an Osseo power play. It was a 2-goal game at the time going into the power play. If Osseo can get a goal, obviously you can do the math, and with 8 minutes to go, you're looking at a 1-goal contest. Instead, it goes right the other way as Nate Schaefer came flying out of the box.
And I think Fanenstein's had a pretty good game today. You know, there was the first one, I can't count against him. One I can think was definitely he'd love another chance at. The other 2 are somewhere in between, but overall, this is a guy that was allowing 6 goals a game, and here in the postseason, he's yielded just 4 today.
Got off to that good start, just 1 goal in the first 2 periods allowed to the Bengals.
And he's faced 37 shots tonight. I mean, 20 more shots than his counterpart on the other end of the ice.
And that was the case big time in that regular season meeting. Bengals outshot him 41-15. Almost right there on that again. Loftus, McIntyre tighten the noose a little bit there, and McIntyre fires it too wide. Back in front, just out of the crease it goes. Loftus can't hang on to it. It's knocked ahead as out comes Holine. He ends up losing an edge there and loses the puck. Gets it back right in front of the net, turns. Blaine was right there.
Blaine's leaving it all out there in the final minutes here. This senior knows what's up.
And a skate issue there too as he was down again. Break from McIntyre looking for that hat trick.
Great play by Fanenstein back there because Holine was nowhere to be found. Dead tired after running himself to the other end of the ice. Look at him poke the puck here. Try to bring it out front. Defense recovers, but good individual effort. But he was out of gas. Skater should be returning, right? Or we just, yeah, there we go. No, they say no.
And now we got a skater coming out despite the protestation of the official. And a broken stick and a flung stick and a bad look. And he's going to be gone. He doesn't have to stay in the box now. And Ellingson gets to leave.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know what the confusion necessarily was.
Well, they had a clock up that was ticking down to 5 seconds, but you can only see 2 players in the penalty box at once. They couldn't put all 3 up. So their time that came off the clock, and they're just going to wrap up this game, was for the major. And so no one's going to come out on the ice to that. There was still 14 more seconds on the penalty to be served there. That's why they wouldn't let him out. I get some frustration. I even get slamming your stick in frustration. But he did it right next to the official and broke that thing right next to him. That's a dangerous thing, let alone, you know, the kind of thing that's normally going to get you a penalty.
Well, and mercilessly, the final 7 minutes comes to a close, and bottom line, the Bengals win it 4-1. Up until the final 8 minutes, this was an entertaining ball game, and then things unraveled, or entertaining game rather. Things unraveled in a lot of different ways. It'll be the Bengals that move on to the semifinals. 4-1 is your final. This ice not done. Girls hockey comes your way. Thanks for watching. I'm J.W. Cox for our entire North Metro TV crew, including John Haddon. Bengals get the win. Keep the season alive. 4-1, and you watched it all right here on North Metro TV.